See me, but now I can see everyone. Okay, great. I'll mute myself. You just tell me when to go.
Okay, we should be good to kick off. We are right at 10:30 here, so go right ahead, Mary Jo. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Mary Jo Viero. I'm the Executive Director of the Beverly Area Planning Association, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Smart Tech Seniors. We're thrilled that we have we have about 115 residents registered for our class today, so that's exciting. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Smart Tech Seniors and thank our trainer, Claire DeCola. We're so fortunate that Claire could be with us. She has led our sessions, our previous Smart Tech Seniors, but those were in person. So we're glad that she's back. She understands the firsthand the questions that you might have. She's already helped over 200 people in our neighborhood with previous classes learn how to use more features on their smartphones and their other devices. Claire holds an MBA in marketing and social media. She founded her firm Amplify 7 back in 2013, and she specializes in using social media to build your brand. This is our third Smart Tech Senior event, and but it's the first time we've conducted it online, so we're excited to do that. And now that Illinois is in Tier 3 because of COVID, our goal is to help you stay connected with your family and friends. And with all these social distancing, we have to figure this out. So it's more important than ever, and it's a perfect opportunity to maximize the power of your smartphones and your devices to get your money's worth and connect. 19th Ward Alderman Matt O'Shea and I have sponsored the Smart Tech Seniors, and we have joined with Senator Bill Cunningham and State Rep Kelly Burke, along with Mercy Circle and Smith Village, to co-sponsor this event. So welcome, everyone. We're super excited, and let's get started.
Thank you so much, Mary Jo. I appreciate it. I have so much fun teaching these classes, and I think this is a great way for everyone to stay informed and in touch this holiday season. So undoubtedly, this is going to be really different because we are not in person, and you are not going to be able to say out loud if you have a question, or if you want me to stop, or if you can't follow along and you got lost and we're going too fast. So I'm going to start out this way. If you have a question and you are watching this video, you can really easily, let's see if everybody can see this, you can email me, Claire, so you spell my name, C-L-A-I-R-E, at Amplify, A-M-P-L-I-F-Y, the number 7.com. Anytime during the session, I'll be checking my emails, and you can send me questions like that too. If you have joined this Zoom call, you'll see that you have a chat box that you're able to pop up. It's on the bottom. You're going to see the words chat. If you click on that, you're going to see that a chat box appears and you can type. I'll be watching that too, so you can type in that chat box. You can send me an email. If you decided to put your video up and I see it waving around, I will go ahead and see how I can help you and how we can make this work. We are going to be covering a lot of things. I'm going to go really slow. Promise you, I'm very thorough and I know how to go slow and get through everything. But the really important thing for everybody to know is that I will be sending everybody that gives your email to us all this information in an email. Okay, you're going to get a really helpful presentation that I'm going to be giving you, but I'm going to hand it to you so that you can own it. You can go through it at different time. You can make sure you understand everything. You can go step by step. You can also then bring questions to our later classes. Right? So after we get through all of this class and you say, Claire, I tried to get on Skype and I couldn't, bring that to the next class and I'll go ahead and, you know, follow up with you, or you can send me an email. So sorry, that was kind of a lengthy introduction. I just know this is different and I want everyone to be able to ask questions. So you can use the chat box, you can email me, or you can start waving around. So, hi, I am Claire, and today we are going to be talking about how you can video call with your family. And obviously we know this is really important right now, where you can make memories and still see people and be a part of things. So the number one question I think most people will probably want to ask is, what's the easiest and the free way to communicate with your family? Now, if you are on this particular presentation, hopefully you joined because you are an Apple user. So you have an Apple phone, okay, iOS. So hopefully you have that, because the easiest and the completely free way to call somebody else in your family that has an iPhone is FaceTime, okay? It doesn't require you to have an account. You don't have to log in. You don't have to have an email. You don't have to have a password. Your friend doesn't have to have the email and password. FaceTime is completely free, and I'm going to bring it up so you can see. It's very, very similar to making a phone call, except we're going to be making a video call. Okay, so we will back it up. The number one question people ask is, Claire, how can I video call somebody for free and without an account when I am an iPhone user? You can use FaceTime. So if you are on this call because you have an iPhone, which is correct, you will go and you will see, I'm going to try to show you all the way up top. It is a video icon in green. It says FaceTime. Okay. That is something anybody with an iPhone can use to video call anybody else that has an iPhone. So if you know that your here's a good caveat I should add. If your grandson has an iPad that he plays with, he has FaceTime on his iPad. And as long as you have coordinated with the parents, you can easily FaceTime on that iPad. No account needed. It's completely free. So FaceTime is something, this is why you know me. If you've come to any of my classes, you know I am an Apple person. So I love my iPhone. I will cheer for them all day, every day. So if you have FaceTime, because you are an Apple user, all the way up top right there, anybody else that has anything else Apple also has FaceTime. So iPhone users, iPad users, if you have a Macintosh computer, these are all different ways that you can use for free this FaceTime app. So let me show you what it does when we press it. So we're going to press it, and it's going to pop up your contacts, just like it would if you were making a phone call. Now, the only difference is it's only going to work video calling if you're calling somebody else on an Apple device. So you would just be calling their phone number just like you normally would. You'll see there's a little plus sign. Let's go ahead and show you. Right up top. Let's see, there's a little bit of a glare. There we go. You should be able to see. And when you press that plus sign, it's going to bring up a to box just like your text message box does. And you can type in anybody that's in your contacts. Their name will appear. So you see I start typing C and all these names start appearing. As long as they have an Apple device, an iPhone, an iPad, a Macintosh computer, you can video call them. They can see you, you can see them, and you can communicate. So FaceTime is wonderful because it's free and it's easy to use and it doesn't require an account. But the main thing to remember is it only works if you have an Apple. So as you know, not everybody does use an Apple phone. So that's why we're gonna kind of cover more devices and more things. But the number one question everybody always asks me is, which one's free and easiest to use? And if you're an iPhone user, that answer is FaceTime. But we're gonna go and start with probably the number one everybody's hearing about and the one that we are on today, Zoom. Now Zoom, as you can all see, works two ways. You might have noticed from this class, some people are on this Zoom call, so that means they can talk with me, they can chat. Good question. Sorry, I'm gonna stop. When I have a question, I'll stop. I'll ask it to everybody and I'll answer it. So just backing up real quick to FaceTime, somebody said, can you call more than one person on FaceTime? Excellent question. You sure can. So FaceTime will allow you to call multiple people and you will appear similar to Zoom. You'll have all these little boxes and it'll be their picture and you can see them. So yes, you could call and look at 5 people on the screen. It might be better if you have an iPad or a computer to do video chat, right? Because your screen's bigger and I could see more people. But yes, great question. You can call more than one person on FaceTime on the same call. So for example, yesterday I have, which maybe a lot of you do have, I have a group text message on my phone with all my girlfriends all my girlfriends and I that have kids. We call it the Mom Squad. And when you are on it, it will give you the option all the way at the top. You see the little video? To press that video button. And that will FaceTime everybody in my Mom Squad. And we can all FaceTime together. So we in fact did it yesterday. My girlfriend bought a house. And there's no way to celebrate in person responsibly anymore. So we did a FaceTime video call and we were all on it and it was free. It was easy to use. And because we are all in that group chat together, all I did was press that one little button. I really like group chats. It's really nice to have it organized and you can do the same thing with FaceTime. If you have those groups already created on your phone, you can just FaceTime that whole group that you created. It's very, very nice. So good question, thank you, and good job using the chat feature, right? So that's a great way. So now that we're talking about Zoom, we can kind of talk about that. So Zoom, okay, is wonderful. It's a different platform. It requires an account. It's free up to certain parameters, but it does require an account. So what an account means is that you have an email address, and that email address you need to have access to because it's going to ask you to log in to confirm your email address. So if you happen to have lost your password to your email, maybe go create a new Gmail account, or you can try to reset your password or something like that. You do need an email account, and you're going to go ahead and create it and save it for your Zoom calls. So Zoom, as we are on right now, requires you to go ahead and log in. And you can invite all these people from all around, and people have 2 options, okay? Whereas they can go to their app store and download Zoom and get the little Zoom app, okay? Or if you are on your computer, you would go to www, and I actually think it's, .zoom.us, okay? And you would go there. So you have 2 options with Zoom. Zoom is free, but you need to create an account. And in order to use it, you either use your phone or you're using a device like your computer or your iPad. Okay, so we have our account. We've registered. We're gonna use Zoom, whichever way you prefer. So I will say this. If you have a lot of people, so for example, Thanksgiving is coming up, okay? Maybe you have made plans to do a Thanksgiving dinner via Zoom so everybody can eat together, but not together. And in order to do this, maybe you have a really large family and there's like 13, houses that are all going to be joining. It's going to be a little bit difficult to see 13 different families on your phone. It's possible. It's totally doable. It's going to be a little difficult. Think about how small everybody's going to have to be for 13 people to be on the screen. Okay, so it's completely possible to video chat with a lot of people on your phone, but just think about the size. It might be better, if possible, to use the larger device if you are going to be chatting with a bunch of people. Okay, if you are only chatting with, say your son and his family, then yeah, sure, your phone will be great. Your phone will work no matter what. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of perspective about the size of the screen versus how many people are going to be on there. So we have Zoom, we created our account, we logged in. Now what you will see with Zoom, once you log in, you will see that you can join a meeting. Okay, so that means that your brother Jack sent you an email and said, hey Claire, I created a Zoom for Thanksgiving. Here's the code. It's gonna be like a PIN number to join. Or he could give you a link. Okay, so you can do it just like that. Or you can be the lucky one and you can create the meeting. So you're probably wondering, okay, Claire, if I create the meeting, how do my family members join? You will need to know what family members you'd like to join and their email addresses. Okay, so what Zoom is going to do is it's going to take all these email addresses that you've decided to assign to this meeting, and it's going to send them an email with the link to join. So remember, you guys all clicked on a link to join this Zoom call. That's exactly what Zoom is going to do if you set up a meeting. It's going to take all those email addresses, it's going to send them a link, and it's going to say, hey, Claire says tomorrow at 2 o'clock, we're all going to click this link and video up with everybody. Okay, so Zoom sends out that email to everybody, including you, saying, Claire, everybody's going to join this link at 2 o'clock. So what happens if tomorrow at 1:30, your Aunt Joe says she never got the link? You can just, your link that you got in the email is good for her too. So you can go ahead and send her that email. You can forward it to her. You can text it to her. Okay, everybody's using the same link because we're all joining the same meeting. So it's okay if somebody loses their link. It's not specific to them. I know that happens a lot. We get a lot of emails all day long. Don't we get so many emails? There's so many sales, especially because of holidays. So getting Zoom emails might be complicated and people might lose them. So that's something to just kind of, think about. There's a lot of things going on. Zoom's another email to look out for. So now you've sent this email out. Everybody clicks on it, and kind of like how we are today, you will see a bunch of boxes. Now what Zoom decides to do, Zoom picks whoever is talking, so they call me the speaker, and they make me take up the biggest box. And everybody who's listening and having a part of a conversation, but it's not talking, is going to be kind of silent around me. And as the conversation changes, and as Jack talks, and Joe and Sue, it'll keep bouncing around and highlighting them. So in a way, your eye is going to keep moving because the box is going to keep expanding depending on who the speaker is. So it's a nice way to focus on who is talking and make sure you know who to give attention to. But it's also really fun when you have a lot of kids jumping around, because as you know, kids aren't very quiet, and then Zoom doesn't know who to pay attention to, and then you all stay the same size. So no matter what, you'll all be on the same Zoom call. So we've all joined Zoom. We all know now that it's free. However, there are parameters to Zoom being free, correct? So here are some just helpful things to know. If you want to have more than 40 people on a Zoom call, somebody might have to get a subscription. Okay. And if you want to record, so this is kind of creative thing that a family recently told me doing. They are doing a virtual caroling session. So each family is caroling together on Zoom and they're going to record it. And that's going to kind of be something that they're going to do this holiday just to be fun and kind of commemorate. You know, this year is different, but different doesn't have to be bad. We just have to come up with more ways to be fun and creative. So Zoom is allowing us to do that, right? Like you can have family in California, in Florida, in Michigan, and you can send them this link. All you need is their email and they can use this link and we can all be together talking and seeing each other. It's really nice. I find it a really good way to communicate with people, especially in the winter time. My grandparents live in the Upper Peninsula and they get hit with snow. So they don't go anywhere in the winter time because they can't even get out. So Zoom is really nice to be able to connect with family that aren't always available. So something nice to remember about why we like it. So Zoom, you can hop on a meeting. And you can schedule a meeting. Those are pretty much the two things you're going to need to do, right? Somebody either sends you a link and you join, or you create the link and you join. Okay? Zoom, we can do them on our computer, or we can do it on our phone. We need a login. Now, before Zoom, so this is the original video calling in my eyes, was Skype. Everybody that I knew used Skyped, especially when people were going abroad. That was really big because, as anybody knows, it's really expensive to call people on your cell phone when they're abroad. Even more so, I can't even imagine, to video call them. So Skype is kind of the original. It's just not as popular right now, I feel like, because Zoom has really honed in on the business field. So everybody's talking about Zoom. But Skype is definitely more so an option and more people might be familiar with it, and it's a little bit easier to use, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you why. So Skype, similar to Zoom, you can use on your phone. You can go to the App Store and you can get their app. So their app is kind of like FaceTime. It's a blue video, or you could go to their website, skype.com. And I like Skype because it's more like a phone call. Okay, so whereas Zoom, you have to create this meeting, okay, and you have to email people a link. It's a little complicated. Skype is a little bit more organized, okay? Skype means that maybe yesterday you and Tim discussed how today at 3 you were gonna video call him, okay? So today at 3 o'clock, you know, I'll go on my phone. So today at 3 o'clock, I log into my Skype on my phone, and Tim logs into his Skype, and you just call him using the Skype app. Okay, so it's different. I'm not scheduling a meeting with Tim. Tim's not scheduling a meeting with me. We're not creating anything. There's no link being sent to Tim. The difference is Tim has a Skype account. I have a Skype account. We both logged into Skype at the same time. And now I'm going to call him and we're going to meet up like that. So it's different. In my eyes, a little bit easier. Okay. But it's not really pre-planned, and you both need to kind of be on Skype to take advantage at that exact time. Will they be notified? Definitely. Okay, so for example, if you go on today at 3 because you and Tim talked about going on Skype today at 3 for you to video call, and Tim doesn't go on at 3, Tim will get a notification, just like he would if you were calling his regular phone, saying, hey, Tim, Claire's calling you. It's time for a video call. Why what's the difference between FaceTime, Skype, Zoom? Right? Why do we even have all three? Well, first off, just because everything likes to be complicated, right? Like, why do we have 13 different ketchups? I don't know. It's just ketchup. I only need one, right? I go to the store and I'm always so overwhelmed. There's like 100 honeys and I just eat honey. Regular, did the bees make it? Will I be okay eating it? That's all I need to know. Okay, so what is the difference between Zoom, FaceTime, Skype? So we'll just start with the utmost basic, right? FaceTime, my favorite personally, can only be used with Apple users. Okay? That's it. I can only use FaceTime and video call other people that have Apple products, whether that be an iPhone, an iPad, or a Mac. Okay? Zoom is a little bit more organized and effective and really good when dealing with a larger amount of people. Okay. I would say if you are going to do an excess of four people, I'd probably go with Zoom. Okay. Skype is great. Anybody, so that means Jack, who's in Europe, who has a completely different phone, and Betty, who's an Android user, who has a desktop computer, and Sam, that only has an iPad, can all use Skype. Okay, and nobody has to set anything up. We just all have to go on Skype and use it. So they're different, but all provide the same functionality, right? They're all ways to video and connect with people, whichever way you personally prefer. There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong way to video call somebody. As long as you got it to work, I say it's a thumbs up in my book. Now, there are more ways. More popular if you use Gmail. Okay, so that's Google. If you have a Gmail account, Google, who I also love, now has their own video conferencing. Can Skype be used with Android? Excellent question. Skype can be used with Android. So that's why Skype, to me, is wonderful. Everybody can use it. It's a little bit easier to use, in my opinion, because we don't have to be sending out these links for people to join. It's more similar to honestly making a phone call, because in actuality, Skype is really like assigning everybody phone calls, and you're really just calling in the Skype software, which makes it easier, I think, user-friendly wise to connect with people. Zoom is a little complicated. You'll see it really used, obviously, in workplaces in the educational field. It's helpful for larger families, I will say that. But very good question. Yes, Skype can be used for that. But that's why I like Skype, right? It's a very good one. But anyway, so continuing on. So Google has now their own Google Duo. So if you are a Google user and you have a Gmail account, that might be something worth discovering for yourself. So similar to everything else, the really good thing about all of these options that we talked about, whether you go with Zoom or Skype or FaceTime, all of these are available on your phone and your devices. Okay, so if you want a bigger screen, use your computer, okay? Helpful tips that a lot of people ask. Your screen is not going to automatically give you bright light. Let's make sure, I'm sure, I mean, probably you can see, I have a lamp right here. Actually, I added it last minute to brighten up my screen because it doesn't just happen. So kind of, you have to create that environment when you're on video calling, make sure to have a really nice lidded area. But yes, so Google is another one. The main difference with Google, it's free up to 32 people. So that's the one little caveat. What I really think is fun about Google, so this will be fun for artists that are watching this right now or people that are really creative. Google is very interactive, and while you are on the Google calls, you can actually like draw balloons or send confetti to somebody else on the Google. So it's extra fun if you have kids involved on the call. I don't think there's a very big learning curve with any of these, to be honest. They are all very intuitive. Essentially, you're just logging on to the call. So whether somebody decides to do Skype with you or FaceTime, be confident that once you are on it, once you've accepted it and you're talking and you're looking, you're going to be good to go. Right? There's no extra things you need to learn about. It's very easy, right? You are on a video. I'm looking at you. I'm talking. Thankfully, there's nothing else we have to do, right? And if all else fails, you can always just close your screen or turn it off. That's what I always tell people. If all else fails, you can always turn it on, turn it off. So you're probably a little overwhelmed right now because we just talked about a lot of different ways to video call people, okay? So we have my favorite, which is FaceTime, which is for Apple products only, okay? We have Zoom, which is really good for large audiences. It requires somebody to log in and set up one of these meetings and send out that link for everybody to join. We have Skype. Okay, so that's kind of like you guys setting everything up because everybody's going to get on Skype, either logging in on the website or logging in on the app, and you're going to call each other that way. Or if you and a lot of your, family are using Gmail accounts, then it's very easy for everybody to just use the Google Duo. Okay, so we have all of those, all relatively free as long as you have a smaller group to use. Now, as if you didn't have enough going on, you've probably already seen that sometimes with really fun events, people go on Facebook and they Facebook Live. So I've seen it a lot with gender reveals, right? A girl's pregnant. She's about to tell everybody if she has a boy or girl. Given these times, nobody can be there to celebrate with them, but they do really want to share this moment with everybody. So they go on Facebook Live. So Facebook Live allows them to have somebody videotaping them on Facebook, and it is live broadcasting to anybody who wants to watch that they're friends with at that moment. So they get to be there real time and experience this moment. And it's really awesome that Facebook has this. Obviously, this is something for Facebook users. So if you are not on Facebook, you can kind of cover your ears and ignore this quick little blurb about why I kind of like Facebook Live and why it's helpful for these moments. Facebook Live is for anybody that's on Facebook, okay? And it's completely free. The one thing about it is, though, Facebook Live only does work on your phone. Okay, not that big of a deal, but it's kind of like an in the moment type thing. So they don't really have it on a computer because that would kind of require a little bit of setup. So Facebook Live is really awesome for those moments that you want to set up with, whatever audience you'd like and invite them to watch it. I've done it before. It's really exciting. I've seen people do it at races before, at the finish line and their friend is coming through and not everybody can be there and they want to share the moment. So I really enjoy having each of these platforms for these specific moments and these exact reasons. One size doesn't fit all at each exact time. That's kind of what you have to figure out, whichever one you prefer, which works really well for you. So for example, I keep talking about FaceTime because it's really easy if you have an iPhone because it's just calling somebody, just using the video button. So I regularly use that when I have my daughter call her grandparents because I will just take my phone. Okay, we'll go to the FaceTime app. I'll just touch grandma's name. Okay, grandma has an Apple phone too. So we both have iPhones. It works well. and my daughter can just kind of sit there and talk to her. So that works well in those one-off situations. When we are arranging kind of a bigger group, my family uses Zoom. Okay. But when my brother was traveling overseas, we use Skype, right? So you have to kind of pick which one is best for you, but they are all very user-friendly, I would say. So don't let them get you confused. I don't want you to be confused. A lot of people won't use any video calling in fear of failure. So don't be afraid to fail, because it's really easy. And if you don't, you can contact me and I will help you. We kind of talked about why each platform is different. And so now I'm going to kind of go through a little bit of the troubleshooting questions that people emailed that they've had issues with specifically. And I like to tell people, you know, whether you're using the chat box or my emails, if you've had the question, I can guarantee I've had so many other people ask the question too. So don't feel like your question, you know, is way off base and nobody else would ever have it, because that is definitely not the case. So the first question I got is, my Zoom calls get noisy. Oftentimes people are loud in the background. How do I eliminate distractions? Yes, that's a hard one. I think when you are picking a location for your Zoom or your FaceTime or any of these video calling, you need to have a good understanding of where the noise is coming from and try not to pick that spot. So for example, I generally like to have my meetings outside when it's nice outside. It's gorgeous outside. So I would have hosted this outside, but I was in fear that somebody would like be mowing their lawn or blowing their leaves, and that would have been a really loud distraction noise. So it's something to think about. Your phone or your computer will pick up all these little noises, so it is good to go ahead and, sorry, I'm just going through more questions. So it is good to pick a more quiet spot if you can, depending on what the situation is. If it's your family, it shouldn't matter. But if you're in a work situation, I understand where you have to kind of be in a more closed off setting. Is there a time limit when you are Zooming or on Do? It depends, actually. So for the most part, no, there isn't. Are you trying to record any of these? If so, yes. Recording is a subscription-based option that you get. If you just want to sit there and have a good time with less than 40 people, you're good to go. Don't worry about it. Oh, thank you very much, Irma. I appreciate it. Walk us through the Zoom pages. Sure, I can. So I will go ahead and walk you through Zoom pages. I do have a handout. So, you know, what I will do is I'll screen share that handout so you can kind of look at it. But just so you know, if you registered for this with your email address, I have several handouts that we will send you, okay, that have a breakdown of what I talked about with some handouts. Obviously, this is a little bit different of a setting, right? So before, if you've gone to my classes before, you know, I'm talking, and then in the background, we kind of are also doing the tutorial. It's a little bit harder in the scenario. We're jiving with it though, but we will definitely go ahead and pull up the Zoom app. She wants to see what the Zoom one looks at. So I'm going to pull it up on my phone and we'll go step by step through these screens. And just so that you can see the options. There we go. Okay, so when we get to the Zoom screen, this is how it's gonna look. You'll see it says join a meeting. Okay, so that is if Jack sent you the email, right? Then you're joining the meeting. Then there's the option to sign up or sign in. Okay, so if you have not ever used Zoom, whereas you have logged in, you're going to create an account. I have, so I'm going to press the sign in button. And the sign in button is going to prompt me to enter in my email and my password. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to sign in. So you'll get these notifications. You'll probably notice them. Sometimes they're annoying. You just kind of have to go with them. They're there. It's going to say Zoom would like to send you notifications. Notifications may include alerts, sounds, and icon badges. These can be configured in the settings. What does this mean, Claire? This means if you weren't paying attention and Sue is calling you on Zoom and everybody's on the meeting, Zoom will send you an alert and let you know, or Zoom will let you know that you have a meeting coming up. I always say allow. If you're one of those people, you can say don't allow. Totally your call. This is your phone. You make your own settings. The next question it's going to say is Zoom would like to access your calendar. This is so if you set up a meeting or you join a call, it's going to put it in your calendar. It's going to remind you. Say yes. Make your life easier. Don't make it harder. Always say yes. Always add your calendar. Yes. Would you like Zoom to use Siri? Sure, why not? I don't really vibe with Siri, but if you do, that's cool. And do you want to sign in with Face ID? Always, yes. Wow, another one. Do you want Zoom? Wow, okay. Sorry, that was a lot, right? Okay, so we have Zoom. We have signed in. Let's see. There you go. You should be able to see it now. We have new meeting, join, schedule, share screen. Okay, so as you can imagine, if you were doing a new meeting, you'd press the new meeting button. Okay, and what that's going to do is that's going to start a new meeting. Look, Zoom is accessing my camera, and then it's going to access my microphone. It's going to access my calls. It's going to start one up right then and there. Okay, I have now started a meeting. You'll see. And now that I've started it, I have these options. I can invite my contacts to join the meeting. Okay, so that's if I want to do it right now. Okay, I opened up my app. We've already made this decision. Colleen, Ben, and I are all going to jump on a Zoom call. Ben asked me to set it up. I'm on Zoom right now. I set it up. Okay, if I wanted to set up a Zoom call for Ben and Margaret for tomorrow, I'm going to press the scheduling button. Okay. The schedule button allows me to schedule a meeting. Okay. Look. Schedule a meeting gives me the option of giving it a title, a start time, a duration. Okay. The time zone. Important. How often do you want to repeat it? Maybe you want to do it all the time. Okay. Do you want it to have a passcode? So somebody actually asked me this question recently. They joined a Zoom, but were put into a waiting room and they couldn't get into the Zoom and they were wondering why they were stuck in this waiting room. They couldn't join their family because somebody had password protected it so that not everybody could just join it. And the person that hosted the meeting had to actually approve everybody in the waiting room to get in the meeting. So don't be afraid if you get in a waiting room, no big deal. Obviously we want to have both videos on for everybody and we save it. Now the other button, so new meeting. That means we want to have a meeting right now. Schedule means we're going to schedule it for a different time. Join, see it says join. Join a meeting means that Ben, thank you, Patricia, I appreciate it. Have a great day. Join means that Jack has sent you the meeting and it has that meeting ID. It's like a PIN number. I think it's like 9 to 12 digits long. And you insert that there and you join it. Okay. So I feel like in essence, you can put this on your phone and this will sync up. Okay. So next Thursday, a week from today, is Thanksgiving. Now that all of this information is fresh in your head, maybe you get off this sign up for your Zoom account. So all that means is you have an email address that you have access to. And arrange one for your family. That would be a really good assignment. I would love for everybody, if you're comfortable, to do that, because at our next class, I'm going to ask how many people did it, because I know that not everybody can get together this Thanksgiving, and I think it would be really nice if you took advantage and you took the initiative and you told your family that you took a great class, you learned how to set up a Zoom call, and all you need is everybody's email addresses, and you're just going to send it off. Even better, if you want to be really tech savvy, you could set up the Zoom call and then just send everybody that PIN number, and they would be able to do it themselves. So just something fun to think about. So those were the Zoom page screens. I hope those were helpful. I also have a handout. Oh, thanks, Peggy. I also have a handout that I'm going to give that features each of these. So each handout, I have one for Zoom, okay? And that's gonna show you kind of like a screen of each and what you can do on Zoom, okay? I have one for FaceTime, I have one for Skype, and Google Duo. So right now, if you are feeling a little overwhelmed, just I take this all in for a second, because you'll get the handout, and I think after you listen to it, and then they're recording this too, okay? So you'll have access to this and that, plus my email address. You'll be okay. We're getting through questions. If you have any questions, I am also checking emails and the chats to go through them, and then I do have some by on the email as well. Is FaceTime related to Facebook? Good question. You'd think so. They are not. FaceTime is something that iOS or Apple users only get, okay? Facebook is a completely different software, only a completely different person. But Facebook does own Instagram, if you want to get, you know, really kooky with it. Oh, this is a great question. Ouch. Okay, my camera makes it look like I have double chins. Is there a way to position my camera so I look better? We've actually gone over this before. If you have been in my classes, we have talked about taking good selfies and positioning your camera. So, word to the wise, you don't ever want your camera looking up. Does that make sense? So I'm going to move my computer and show you how bad I look. This is for science. Maybe I shouldn't, because we're recording this. I will. Okay. I love you guys enough. Okay. Look. Okay. Like, it's just not flattering. Here, maybe I'll do it like this. It's not very flattering. You don't want your camera looking up. This is just not, doesn't do anybody any justice. Okay. A good way to position your camera is straight on. Okay, I'm literally looking at you. My head is not tilted at all. Or if you want to get the skinny angle, who doesn't? Okay, you'll have your computer like this, right? Totally your choice. You'll have to kind of set it up like that, right? Sometimes when I'm setting up things, I'll purposely, you know, set up my phone high, but straight on is usually best. Don't have it the other way. Do I need a Zoom account to join a meeting? Good question. You do not need a Zoom account to join a meeting. Okay. I will add that a Zoom account is free. Okay. But you don't need it to join a meeting. Remember, you could just use those numbers, those PIN numbers, or somebody can just give you a direct link. You do not need an account to join a meeting. You do need an account if you want to set up a meeting. Okay. How does someone invite me to a Zoom meeting if I don't have it? Good question. So there are two ways to get invited to a Zoom meeting. Somebody can send you the link. And so you would just click on the link, whether it's on your phone or your computer, or they would give you those codes. Oops, sorry. What? They would give you those code numbers and you would just enter those. So it's very easy to join a Zoom call. What do I do when someone sends me a link? Okay, so you'll have, the great thing about technology is that it kind of does it for you in a way. If somebody sends you a Zoom link, it's gonna, and you click on it, it's gonna open it to Zoom. If someone sends you a Skype link, it's gonna open it to Skype. There is no FaceTime link, so you can't get one like that. If Google Duo sends you a link, it's gonna open it. So in that retrospect, it's fail proof if somebody sends you it, because you really just have to click on it. Okay. The only way you will have any type of difficulties, okay, is if, so remember we just went through that Zoom and it had all those pop-ups. Difficulties that can arise with video calling is if you said no to the microphone or no to the video. Not a really big deal if you said no to the video. Maybe you don't want to be on the video. Been plenty in video calls where I don't want to be on the video. But if you don't have the video and you don't have the chat and you're trying to interact, you can probably now see the problem. There will not be able to know. So right now, everybody who is actually on the Zoom call, so sorry, if you just have the link, you're not going to be able to see this example. But if you are actually on the Zoom call and you put your mouse over your picture, you're going to see that in the left side next to your name, there's a microphone in red with a line through it. Okay. That means that you're muted. Okay. I can't hear you, even if I wanted to. Okay. You, not on this particular call, bad example because we're in a class, but if you were with your family, you would hit the unmute button. So if you put your face over that, you'll see it and you'll be able to click it and hit unmute. You cannot do it at this example because of this setting. We've muted everybody just to make sure we don't have any outside noise. But I would say muting is like the number one thing that happens. I cannot even tell you how many times I see my mom sitting there and she has no idea that it's even going on. And she is just talking away. I haven't heard a word. And then I'm calling her on my phone, trying to say, Mom, we can't hear you. And that is why. So number one thing, check your microphone, okay? Make sure that they can hear you. Super important. Can I use headphones for my FaceTime, Skype, Zoom? You sure can. Yeah, you can definitely use headphones to plug in if multiple people want to jump in. Obviously, the new phones are a little different, but yes, if you want to plug in your headphones, they'll be able to work. You'll be able to talk. It'll pick up on you. Headphones work great. Obviously, very nice to join in. Hold on. We've got one question downloading on here. I have no sound. Is everybody... I think everybody can hear me. If you had any questions or I missed something, just some really good reminders. We will be sending this by email. We do have more classes coming up, so I'll be back and we'll keep talking. So if you have questions, you can email me. So again, my name is Claire, Claire, at amplify7.com, the number 7.com. You can email me questions. You can contact anybody that was a part of this. We'd be glad to help you. These classes are here for you to take advantage of. So please feel free to give me any type of feedback or let me know, hey, Claire, we would love to see more of this and less of that. I love making these classes informative. This is a little different setup that we have had in the past, and it's so much fun seeing everybody in person. And I can't even imagine how many people have come to all my classes that are here right now, and I wish I could see you all and say thanks for continuing to come to these, and I hope they continue adding value and making your life better and easier, and maybe taking a little weight off your grandchildren and probably always tutoring you whenever you see them, because I know how often that happens. When I see my grandparents are always asking me to help, and I love to help, and I love making sure everybody stays connected and uses technology. I just want everybody to know, with everything that's going on, that you should not be paying for anything. unless you totally have to. So please don't give any of these websites any credit card numbers or sign up for any subscriptions unless you are 150,000% positive that you need to, because FaceTime is ultimately very much so free. Zoom is pretty much free unless you need to like record things or have a lot of people. So is Skype. So just make sure, you know, take advantage of these free tools. See your family, stay healthy, get outside. It's a gorgeous day. Thank you so much, Kathy. I hope everyone has a really awesome Thanksgiving. I know I am the lucky host, and every year I spend more and more time brining my turkey because it's what gives me joy every year is brining my turkey, because I think I'm like the greatest chef that has ever lived. Thank you so much, you guys. Our next class will be even better. We'll continue to tailor it. I'm thinking maybe like decorating this wall back here. I don't know, getting really fancy with it. I have handouts I'll be sending you guys. If you have any questions, I think the main thing to take away is that it's not too complicated. You can definitely do it. And you know, just make sure as best as you can, you keep seeing your family, because family is important and these memories are important. And it was really nice teaching this class today. I have a lot of fun teaching classes. I was going to be a teacher, fun fact, but I switched. Thank you, Mary Jo. I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Again, if you have any more questions, feel free to send anybody an email. We will help you as best as we can. And I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Clara. This was wonderful. And I know I learned some things as well. So I know I speak for the whole class because I'm able to unmute myself, but thank you so much for taking the time. Mary Jo, thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll look forward to having more of these soon.
Awesome. Bye.
Thank you again.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, Claire.
Bye, Mary Jo.